Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome to a new class of our new series online, which is secondary grade, the Traveler book. Our lesson today has some reading, vocabulary and grammar. So let's get started with the objectives at the beginning. So the objectives are mainly four. So we have four objectives. One, in this lesson you can read and practice in identifying the main idea of the text. Two, practice in using verbs and prepositions in a controlled environment. Three, use the past simple. Four, revise the use of used to or be get used to. So let's start with the first objective, which is how we identify the main idea of the text. If I ask you this question, take a look at this picture. It looks like a rainbow picture. So what do you see? Oh yeah, that's right, you see colors. So that's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. So these are the main colors for rainbow colors. So colors really have different meanings in different countries. In some countries, white is a color for peace. In other cultures, it is completely different. For some people, green is nature and life. In other countries or cultures, it could mean something completely different. So colors have different meanings for different colors. So some of these colors really can express happiness, some for success, some for health, death, danger. Okay, so let's start about which one represents happiness. Yeah, many think red could represent happiness, yellow could represent happiness, and success. Many think that yellow represents success, health. Many really can say that green and blue represent health, death, of course, the black, and danger represents or represented in the red color. So these colors really have different meanings in other countries. So I'm going to read for you, and we're going to find out how colors have different meanings in different countries. So I'm going to read for you if you can follow me. You probably know that color can influence or affect your mood and feelings, but did you know that colors mean different things in different cultures? Take the color white, for example. In Western culture, white represents goodness and purity, while in Asian cultures, white is associated or linked with funerals and mourning. So it's about death and sorrows. In China, red is the color of good luck and prosperity. On the other hand, in Western world, red represents danger, which is why warning signs and road signs are often red. So see, in Europe, for example, white is a symbol of purity, goodness, and peace, while in Asia, in some cultures, white is about death, is about sorrow. Also in China, red is a color of good luck, while in Europe and many other countries, it is a sign of warning and it's a sign of danger. People really have different cultures, different views about their colors. If we move on to see how colors are really different from other countries, I'm gonna read for you, so if you can follow with me. In the past, the Cherokee Indians of North America used to associate color with the four directions. That is, blue represented north, white represented south, red represented east, and black represented west. So the Red Indians of the Cherokee in North America used colors to tell the directions. So you can have colors that, white represent south, and red represent the north, and east for the black, and west for yellow. So people even used colors to tell directions. Now these four colors had other meanings too. Blue meant defeat, white meant happiness, red meant success, and black meant death. The Cherokees also used colored beads to achieve or get certain goals. For example, they associated red beads with good health. Green is one of the few colors that most cultures view as a positive color. So many of us think that green represents life, nature, health, prosperity, and so on. And we know that the color of the flag of Saudi Arabia is green. So as I read for you, we had three red words, which the first one means represent. Represent something is to say about something, and also achieve is to get, view is to take a look at, or see things at or as something different. Now we'll read a quick tip that to help you answer questions which refer to the whole text, and make sure you choose the option that describes the text as a whole, not only part of it. So as I read for you about how colors are different from one country to another, here is an advice or a piece of advice that can help you if you read, and then after reading you have questions. So try, when answering these questions which refer to the whole text, make sure you choose the option that describes the text as a whole. So if you have answers, and if you want to answer, try to make your answer talk about the whole text, not as a part of it. We'll see. So we had some words here, but before the words, we have the first question. The first question is, read the article quickly and choose the most appropriate title, A, B, or C. So we have A, B, and C. So the power of color, the meaning of colors in different cultures. Or it is B, colors, choosing the right one for success. Or is it about the meaning of colors in the past? So as I read for you two passages about colors, which one you think is the best to be as a as a title for all the text? Was it about the power of color, the meaning of colors in different cultures, or colors, choosing the right ones for success, or C, the meaning of colors in the past? Of course we're going to choose the first one, because it's about the power of color and how colors are different, and they have different meanings in different cultures. So we choose A for the first question. For the second question, what are the meanings of the following words? So I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here I have A, B, C, D, and E. Here we need to connect these words. So influence, associated, represented, achieve, and view. And here I have connect, succeed in doing something, consider, have an effect on, and mean. So let's find influence. Which one means or equals or is an equivalent in meaning? Is it A? Is it A? Is it B? Is it C, D, or E? Yes, Isra, what do you think? So influence, actually, to have an effect on, so it's better to put D here for 1. Okay, so this is D. To influence is to have effect on. Associated with something, so it is what? It's to connect something. Associated with something, it is connected to something. So it's A for the second one. So influence goes for D, which is have an effect on. And 2, associated goes for A, which means connect. Now 3, represent goes for E, which is to represent something, to mean something. And number 4, achieve something is succeed in doing something, which is B. And of course, finally, you have the last one, which is view, is C, consider. So now we have connected these meanings together, starting from influence means D, which is have an effect on, associated, which is A, connect or connected, represented, which is E, mean or meant, achieve, which means B, succeed or get something, and of course finally view, which means consider something. Now, let's jump off to to some grammar and vocabulary right over here. So, fill in this blank. If you had gone sick and you recovered, so what do we say here? He recovered his illness. We say he recovered in his illness, to his illness, or from his illness. Yeah, recovered from his illness. So recovered from his illness. So someone got sick, and after he went to the doctor and he got his medication, so he recovered from his sickness or illness. Now, recover is a verb, as you can see here. And we use after the verb a preposition. So what do we call this? Go is a verb. We say go in, go out, go to, go after. So we have different prepositions. So when verbs and prepositions come together, you have verb and preposition. So we say that many verbs are followed by prepositions. Sometimes more than one preposition can be correct, so it depends on the use of the verb. So we can say look for something, it means to search for something. Refer to something is to sign about something, and associate it with something linked or connected to something else. So for example, as we said, he recovered from. He turned off the light, he jumped off the bed, and so on. So we got some verbs that are followed by prepositions, and prepositions change their names. Here are some more examples. We have verbs that take about, at, for, and to. So we can say listen to music, listen to the teacher, explain to someone, explain to your brother, explain to your sister, wait for the train, pay attention for, ask for something. And also we can say talk about something, know about something, speak about something. And we have the preposition at, look at something, arrive at some place, point at some point, or something. So we have verbs that take the preposition about, some verbs take to, some verbs take the preposition for, other verbs take the preposition at. You need to know them and you need to find them in your book so you can master them. So you might have a question in the test about these. So if we jump on from these verbs and prepositions to fill this form, so complete the chart here. We have verb that take the preposition from, verb that goes with, and verb that takes the preposition to. So we have this chart. We need to complete the chart with the verbs in the box. Some may be followed by more than one preposition. So we have verbs like argue to, or argue with, or argue from. Listen, fight, refer, agree, belong, suffer, associate, choose, die, cooperate, link, speak, escape, and recover. So let's take agree. Do we say agree to, agree with, agree from? Let's start with the first one. Let's start with the verb argue. So is it argue from, argue with, argue to? What do you think? Yes, so it's argue with. Okay, so it's argue with. This is the first verb, so it goes here. So I'm just trying to model for you. So let's take another verb, listen. Is it listen with, listen from, or listen to? Yes, it's listen to. So listen to your mother, listen to your sister, listen to your teacher, listen to the news, listen to the radio, and you can really put too many verbs here in the chart. So we say that the verb listen, it's better to be put with the verb and the preposition to. So here is an example for argue with, listen to, and let's pick another verb that takes from. So what is a verb that goes with from? So let's take this verb. So we can say someone suffers from something. It means you use the verb suffer and add to it the preposition from, and then it has somehow a different meaning. So we can say some verbs take from, some verbs take with, other verbs go for to, and other verbs go with the preposition with. So we say argue with, we don't say argue to or argue from. And we say suffer from, okay? We don't say suffer with or suffer to. We say listen to, all right? So these verbs actually, most of the time, come with prepositions. And prepositions change their names. And sometimes it's the opposite when you have go in and go out and so on. So as for the list of the verbs here that go with the preposition from, so we say die from something here, escape from something, and choose from something, and recover from something. And as for the list of the verbs that go with with, we have argue with, cooperate with, associate with, agree with, and fight with. And of course the remaining verbs, they come with the preposition to. So we have listen to, refer to, link to, belong to, and speak to. So let's check our answers and remember how these verbs go with different prepositions, and then they have different meanings. So try to take a look at this table. It might be useful for your test, useful for your grammar, useful for your even writing and speaking. So that was about this exercise about filling the table. Now let's go for another exercise when we have to complete the sentences below using verbs and prepositions from the exercise above. So we need to go back above, try to remember these verbs and the prepositions they take, and then try to fill them here from 1 to 5. So for number 1, the book is about how two men prison. So if you read before about a book about two men, they did not stay in prison. So what do we say? It's better to say they escaped from prison. Escaped from. So the book is about how two men escaped from prison. That's the answer for the first one. So escape is a verb and from is a preposition. Number 2, many people allergies in the spring. Many people get allergies in the spring and also in fall. Allergy is when you cannot breathe, you got some dust, or it could be, allergy on your skin. So when the weather changes from hot to cold or from warm to cool, it gets the body gets a little bit weak, so you get some allergy. So many people suffer from. So if you go back to the table, we have chosen escape from and suffer from, which is the first one. So many people suffer from allergies in the spring. Suffer is a verb, from also is a preposition. 3, Kareem, I think we should go by train. So you can say I agree or I don't agree with Kareem. Agree is a verb, with is a preposition, and they come together. So I agree with Kareem, I think we should go by train. 4, and this is a question, who does this jacket? Who does this jacket? So you remember we had a verb here which is belong to. So who does this jacket belong to? Belong is a verb, and to is a preposition. So belong to, most of the time the verb belong and the preposition to, they come together. 5, when students work together on projects, they learn how to each other. So if you have a group of work, when students do some groups, so they help one another. So what is the best verb here? So when you work with each other, so we say when students work together on projects, they learn how to cooperate with each other. So they learn how to cooperate with each other. So the verb is cooperate, and also most of the time is followed by the preposition with. Cooperate with each other. So let's check what we did. So the first one is about a book about two men escape from prison, and many people in spring suffer from allergies, and you agree or you don't agree with someone about going by train, or and who does this jacket belong to? Who does this computer belong to? And when students are put together in groups, they learn how to cooperate with each other. Now, let's get to grammar. So let's see what we have for grammar today. As we said in the objectives, we're going to remember the simple past tense. So you have all the way, this question most of the time you hear from your parents, from your teachers. What did he do? What did you do? What did she do? And so on. So if you look at this picture, you see this woman trying to use a hairdryer, and here maybe a boy trying to comb his hair, and here doing some chores, getting out of the bed, and here washing the dishes. So you may get these questions in the past about things you've done in the past and you've completely finished them. What did you do today? What did you do yesterday? What did you do last week? What did you do on the weekend? What did you do last summer? What did you do in school today? So you can have too many answers. So if I ask you and if you ask me, what did you do last weekend? So when you see that this question is about the past and we use did, it means you have to answer in the past. So what did I do last weekend? Okay, let me remember. I visited my parents. I went to the mall. I bought some clothes. And I drove to the maintenance shop. So this is, I think, most of the things that I did on the last weekend. So we use the simple past to talk about things that happened and finished completely in the past. So let's remember the past tense here. So the past tense, we use the past tense to talk about. We have 1, 2, 3 things. The most used one, which is something that happened once in the past. So it happened and it's over. So I met my wife in 1983. So meet is in a present and it's a regular verb. So when we put it in the past, meet, met. We went to Spain for our holidays, and the verb is go in the present, and once we use it in the past, it's a regular verb, so we say we went to Spain for our holidays. And also we use the simple past for something that happened again and again in the past. So something repeated itself in the past. So if we have an example, we swam, so the verb in the present, swim, it's a regular verb. So swim, swam. We swam a lot while we were on holiday. 2, they always enjoyed, and that's regular verb in the past. In the present, it's enjoy. This is a regular verb. So they always enjoyed visiting their friends. So this has happened over and over again in the past. Also, we may use the simple past for something that was true for some time in the past. So something was true in the past. People did not consider Pluto as a planet. But now they came back and say, no, Pluto is a planet. So that is a true. That was true. And then they changed and so on. Now, it was true that they said if you drink milk too much, or if you drank milk too much, it's good for you. Now, it's not true. They say if you drank too much milk, it's not good for you. So you can say another example here. I lived abroad for 10 years. So the verb lived with the ed is a regular verb. So you lived abroad for 10 years. That was true for sometimes. You lived in the United States for 10 years. Now this is not true anymore, but for 10 years it was true. She played a lot of tennis when she was younger. So played is a verb in the past and it's a regular verb. So as you say, you can compare the present simple with the present past in the negative. In a sentence, and in a negative, and in a question. So in the present we say you live. In the past you change the verb ed or regular or regular. And for the negative, in the present we say you don't or she doesn't. So we use don't or doesn't in the negative. And in the question we use do. So here negative don't doesn't, do does for the question. In the simple past we use did not and infinitive verb after it. And for the question we say did you live. You didn't, did you live. Also in the present with he, she and it we add s to the verb. He lives, she lives, it lives. But in the past it's the same, it's no problem. We say he lived, he worked, he jumped, he went, and so on. Also we use don't or doesn't. And for both in the past we use did not. And also for the question, we use do or does. Do if you have subjects like I, we, you, they. And does if you have subjects like he, she, and it. And it's the same in the past for questions. So this is just a quick comparison for the present and the simple past. Now let's go very quickly, put these verbs in the correct form. So we have left, took, wore, paid, drove, and went. So number 1, he out of his wallet. He out of his wallet and the bill. So what do you take out of this, out of your wallet and pay the money for something. So he took, this is number one, he took out his wallet and paid the bill. So he took out his wallet and paid the bill. 2, when she went to the interview, she wore her best outfit. So when she went to the interview, she wore her best outfit. And 3, they left the motorway and drove for an hour on a quiet country road. So these are answers. These are all verbs in the past. So he took out his wallet and paid the bill, went somewhere and wore different clothes, and he left and drove outside on a very beautiful country. Now, very quickly, if we remember used to and be used to, they are against one another or versus one another. I used to do something. It means you used to do or describe an action that did happen but does not happen anymore. I used to go to school when I was young. Now maybe you're 50 years old, so it stopped. So I used to drink green tea. It means in the past I drank green tea, but now I don't. Now I'm used to do something. So I'm used to drinking green tea. It means you like it and you do this very often. So drinking green tea was strange and unusual, but now it has become familiar. So if you were smoking and you quit smoking, and that's something good. So you say, I used to smoke, but now, alhamdulillah, I stopped. It's the opposite if you use I'm using to this. So I'm going to do this exercise very quickly for you. Did you buy a newspaper this morning? No, I didn't. I used to buy one every morning, but now I don't. I went to Professor Attar's lecture last Tuesday and I really enjoyed it. He was my favorite professor. He was my favorite professor. So as quickly as possible, we have talked about how we use question to answer a general idea. We had some nice vocabulary like influence, mean, effect, associated, connected or linked. Represented means mean, and achieve, to get or succeed in doing something. View, it means to consider something. And we talked about a list of verbs that take the preposition from, another list of verbs that take the preposition with, another verbs that take the preposition to. And we remembered how we use the past tense and we compare it to the present, and we had some quick review about used to and be used to.